Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hey Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Gandharvika Giridhari Gandharvika Giridhari Gaura Hari Jaya Lakshmi Simha Jaya Ananta Dev Lakshmi Simha Jaya Ananta Dev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtottara Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Tridanti Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Patita Pavan Savior of the Fallen Soul Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai and Srila Prabhupada floating the whole world with ecstatic Krishna Prema Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivarga Chakracharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai अनंत कोटि वैष्णविंद्र की जय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर धाम की जय नवद्वीप धाम की जय जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा माई की जय जमुना माई की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी देवी की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय इस्कॉन व्हाइटफील्ड भक्ति सेंटर प्रीचिंग की जय गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees हरे कृष्णा ऑल ग्लोरीज टू हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय so I'll share my screen so I'm not able to share. Okay, now I can share the screen. Okay. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4th, Chapter 24, the chanting of song sung by Lord Shiva, text number 60. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yatra idam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabhati yat tat tvam brahma param jyotir akasham eva vistratam yatredam vyajyate vishvam vishvasmin avabhati yat तत्त्वं ब्रह्म परं ज्योतिर् आकाशम् इव विस्तृतं यत्रेदं व्यज्यते विश्वं विश्वस्मिन्नवभाति यत् तत्त्वं ब्रह्म परं ज्योतिर् आकाशम् इव विस्तृतं यत्रेदं व्यज्यते विश्वं विश्वस्मिन्नवभाति यत् तत्त्वं ब्रह्म परं ज्योतिर् आकाशम् इव विस्तृतं यत्र where idam this vyajyate manifested vishvam the universe vishwasmin in the cosmic manifestation avabhati is manifested yat that tat that tvam you Brahma, the impersonal Brahman. Param, transcendental. Jyoti, effulgence. Akasham, sky. Eva, like. Vistratam, spread. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear Lord, the impersonal Brahman spreads everywhere like the sunshine or the sky. And that impersonal Brahman, which spreads throughout the universe and in which the entire universe is manifested, is you. In Vedic literature, it is said that everything is Brahman and nothing else. The whole cosmic manifestation rests on the Brahman effulgence. The impersonalists, however, cannot understand how such a huge cosmic manifestation can rest on a person. Thus, this inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not understood by the impersonalists. Therefore, they are puzzled and always denying that the absolute truth is a person. This wrong impression is cleared by Lord Shiva himself, who says that the impersonal Brahman, which is spread all over the universe, is nothing but the Supreme Lord himself. Here it is clearly said that the Lord is spread everywhere, just like the sunshine, by virtue of his Brahman feature. This example is very easy to understand. All the planetary systems are resting upon the sunshine, yet the sunshine and the source of sunshine are aloof from the planetary manifestations. Similarly, the sky or air is spread everywhere. Air is within a pot, but it also touches filthy places and sanctified places alike. In any case, the sky is uncontaminated. The sunshine also touches filthy places and sanctified places, and both are actually produced by the sun. But in any case, the sun is aloof from all filthy things. Similarly, the Lord exists everywhere. There are pious things and impious things. But in the Shastras, the pious things are described as the front of the Supreme Lord, whereas impious things are described as the back of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, text 9.4, the Lord clearly says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina mat sthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitha. By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This verse of Bhagavad Gita explains that the Lord is spread everywhere by virtue of his Brahman feature. Everything rests in him, yet he is not there. The conclusion is that without Bhakti Yoga, without rendering devotional service to the Lord, even an impersonalist cannot understand the Brahma Tattva, the Brahman feature. In the Vedanta Sutra, it is stated, Athato Brahma Jidnyasa. This means that the Brahman, Paramatma or Parabrahman should be understood. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, the absolute truth is described as one without a second. But he is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the ultimate issue, and in this verse, Lord Shiva confirms that ultimately the absolute truth is a person. He clearly says, Tattvam Brahma Param Jyotir Akasham Eva Vistratam. Here is a common example. A successful businessman may have many factories and offices, and everything rests on his order. If someone says that the entire business rests on such and such a person, it does not mean that the person is bearing all the factories and offices on his head. Rather, it is understood that by his brain or his energetic expansion, the business is running without interruption. Similarly, it is the brain and the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that carry on the complete manifestation of the material and spiritual worlds. The philosophy of monism, explained here very clearly, adjusts itself to the fact that the supreme source of all energy is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. This is described very clearly. It is also stated how the impersonal feature of Krishna can be understood. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasmi shashi suryayo pranavah sarva vedeshu shabdah ke paurusham nrshu. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras. I am the sound in the ether, and ability in men. In this way, Krishna can be understood as the mystic power in everything. Such a detailed purport Srila Prabhupada gave. We are so fortunate to read this today. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जयशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितां तां सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितां कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण एवरीवन uh, we welcome you all to the Sunday Feast morning program. So it's actually a great time for all of us to sit and hear from Srila Prabhupada books. As you can see, Sunday is a relaxing time for many people. Around 90% of population by this time might not even woken up. They might still be sleeping in the bed, and they'll wake up slowly and drink their bed tea. So and they just pass the time, and by the time they just get ready for the day, it's already noon or afternoon. So in that sense, we are very fortunate that we actually are are here together, trying to read Srimad Bhagavatam, trying to hear from Srila Prabhupada, and try to understand the words of Srila Prabhupada. So it's a great fortune for all of us. So thank you very much. So we'll just discuss today's verse. I prepared a small PowerPoint which I'll share now. And there is one more thing. So generally we do a kirtan before the class, right? So general tendency is we are not attentive to the kirtan, and we just wait that okay, the class will happen, and then I'll start my focus on the class. So in the kirtan, during kirtan time, let me just uh, think something here and there. So I'll give my focus in the class, but in the class, not during the kirtan. Actually, kirtan is a very important part of the whole program, because as you can see, even in the morning time, so generally we are actually doing so many things in the morning, so we are kind of in the mode of passion. So kirtan, if we just focus on the kirtan, so it helps us come down to the platform of at least the platform of goodness, so we can uh, um, um, then we can understand the class in a much better way. So it's actually very important for all of us, including me also, to have more attention during the kirtan also. So we can then give a real attention to the class. If we don't give focus to the kirtan, and if we are just thinking here and there or doing something else, then attention in the class also will not come. So kirtan is a great opportunity to just forget everything else and try to come back and settle our minds, so we can actually then focus on the class. So I'll just share the screen. Okay. So chapter is chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. So this is actually a very important chapter also, because there are many sects who say um, Lord Shiva is the supreme and Krishna is not the supreme, and there is a constant fights going on between Vaishnavites and Shaivites. So this chapter explains the position of Lord Shiva himself, what he actually thinks about the Krishna and what he thinks about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is a very important chapter in this canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we'll talk about few points. as Srila Prabhupada explained, we talk about energy and energetic. We'll talk about the impersonal Brahman, the ultimate shelter, and finally the conclusion. So we'll start with the energy and energetic. So as we can see, Srila Prabhupada gives many examples in the purport about the sun and the sunshine. Say for example, the sun is just situated in the one place, but the sunshine is spread all over the universe. But it just comes from a single source, is sun. So for example, when we get up in the morning and we see light outside, so we say sun has come, but it's actually sun has not come, because if the sun would have come, we would have actually burned to death. So sun did not came. It's actually the sunshine entered the room, and, and then we said the sun has come. So as you can see, though the sunshine is actually an integral part of the sun, but so when we see sunshine, so we say sun has come, but the sun has its own existence as well, the personal existence. So sunshine is simultaneously one with the sun and at the same time different from the sun. So this is the concept of energy and energetic. So sun is the energetic and sunshine is the energy. So just energetic is just situated in the one place, but by his energy, in this case sunshine, it's spread throughout the universe in the form of heat and light. So there are many examples. So let's say another example which Srila Prabhupada gave about the business and the businessman. So as you can see that, let's take an example of the company called Amazon, so which is a very, very big company now and spread throughout the world. So there is just one person running the company, the CEO of the company, and the whole company operations are actually the brainchild of that one person. But you can't say that one single person is present in each and every office, each and every department, and actually looking over each and everything. So everything, so all the departments, all the offices, even all the employees, whatever they are doing, they are actually kind of, we can say, they are the energy of just that one person. So the brain behind the whole operation is of a single personality, mm, but it is executed by the different departments. So those different departments can be termed as a energy of that person. So when we say the company belongs to Jeff Bezos, who is the CEO of Amazon, so that's true in the sense, but the whole operations of the company are actually not carried by him. He might be just sitting and relaxing somewhere and thinking of the future plans. So, but the whole operations of the day-to-day operations and the planning that has been carried out by the different departments of his company and the different members of his company. So we can equate that to as a energy of that person. So as we can see, though he's not personally present in each and every department of his company, but the whole company functions due to his energy. Now, now this is another very good example, president in the country. So recently we had that, recently means last year we had that note bandi, right? So Mr. Narendra Modi actually closed some of the notes in the country. So as you can see, what he did was just one fine evening, he addressed the nation that now from this 12 o'clock onwards or 2 o'clock, whatever was the time. So these currencies will not be valid anymore. And that was a 1 hour or 2 hour address and then done. He's done with the thing. But after that, all the state governments, all the departments, all the banks, they actually executed that order. So Narendra Modi was only a brain behind that order, and he actually gave an order that this order has to be executed. And but he did not personally come to you and say that okay, this is person, you are not allowed to use this currency anymore. So, but he was not personally present everywhere, but through his energy, that order got executed throughout the country. And even if you see right during our conversation, so that's a very important point we'll see here. So when we say when we remember the note bandi thing, when the currencies were cancelled, so we actually immediately remember Narendra Modi. So that's a very interesting point. So though he just gave an order and the execution was done by so many departments and throughout the country, including banks, including every worker, state governments, but whenever we talk about that demonetization that happened, the first person we remember is a Narendra Modi. So that is a very, very important point. So keep hold of that mm, understanding for understanding for some time. So we'll discuss that later. So the whole idea was that through energy, through his order, we actually remembered the energetic. So this is a very, very important point in Krishna consciousness as well, that through energy, how can we remember Krishna, the energetic? So that we'll see in the few next slides. So this president in the country is the same example. So president or prime minister, he heads a government which is but the manifestation of his energy. The different governmental departments are nothing but the energies of the president, and each department is resting on president's power. But still we cannot expect that he will be personally present everywhere. So, but president will be sitting in his own office or in his own house, but through his energies, all the operations are being carried out throughout the country. And the last example we'll see the powerhouse and the power. It's a very simple example. So we can see that the electricity is generated by a powerhouse that is situated in just one place, but that electricity, which is energy of that powerhouse, is spread throughout the country, throughout the city, throughout the homes and houses and everywhere. So this is an example of energy and energetic. So now, how do we relate it to everything we see around us? So similarly, Lord Krishna is situated at one place, Goloka Vrindavan, and everything is carried out by his multifarious energies. So this is actually a very, very important point to understand. And this actually is also a philosophy of Achintya Bhedabhed Tattva. So through these examples, we'll also try to understand that philosophy. So here, the Lord Krishna is situated at one place, and everything is carried by his multifarious energies. And this is actually said in Shvetashvatara Upanishad, Prasya Shaktir Vivideva Shuyate, Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. The Supreme Lord has multipotencies which act so perfectly that all consciousness, strength, and activity are directed solely by his will. So Krishna doesn't have to do personally anything. The only thing he does is just willing. So he wills that this cosmic manifestation be created, and all the energies. So here we can see Swabhaviki, Jnana Bala Kriyacha. All the energies are actually acting perfectly just based on that will of Krishna. So the only thing which Krishna personally does is to take care of his devotees. But as far as the management of the universe, management of the spiritual and material worlds, those things goes, so they are all carried by the energy of Krishna. And the only thing what he does is just a willing. So Krishna wills and the energies act and do the job perfectly. But as far as the maintenance of devotees is actually concerned, as far as the taking care of devotees is concerned, that's where the Krishna actually personally acts. So that's the different. But as far as the his government affairs are concerned, he just is willing. So just like Narendra Modi willed that demonetization should happen, and it happened. So similarly, Krishna wills that say cosmic manifestation should happen, and then all the energies actually do the job. So this is a very, very important point. And here in the Brahma Samhita we see Goloka eva niva satya kila atma bhuto. Lord Krishna is residing in one place, Goloka, but at the same time he is present everywhere as Super Soul. So just as the sun and the sunshine, sun is situated in one place and sunshine is spread everywhere. So similarly, Lord Krishna is just situated in one place, in his dham in Goloka Vrindavan, enjoying with his devotees, and but everything is being actually carried out through his energies. Actually, this is a very, very important verse, which actually I fortunately found in Srila Prabhupada, one of the purports. So, which actually summarizes the whole concept of energy and energetic. Prasya Brahmana Shakti Sarvedam Akilam Jagat एक स्थाने स्थित एक स्थाने स्थितस् याज्ञेर ज्योत्स्ना विस्तारिणी यथा. So this will summarize our discussion till now. The sun is situated in one place, but it is creating all this material existence by his heat and light. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is situated in his transcendental position in one place, but he is expanding his heat and light and different energies, and by exchange of different energies, the whole cosmic manifestation is before us. So this is the whole summarization of the whole thing. Just like sun is situated in one place and spread throughout the universe due to his sunshine, similarly, Lord is situated in one place when he's abode, and through his energies, all the works are being carried out. So whatever we see, I just want to ask whether you can see the screen, right? All of you can see the screen. Can someone just type a message and say that the screen is visible? So can you see the screen? Oh, not now. So I've disconnected it. So, but you are able to see a PowerPoint, right? All of you are able to see PowerPoint. Hmm. Kartikeya Prabhu, can you you are able to see PowerPoint? So there is no chat message. Okay, so I'm assuming that I think everybody is able to see PowerPoint. So I'll just start sharing again. A PowerPoint is visible, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can see it.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. So, so basically, whatever we see, that is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Krishna and Krishna's energy are not different, but at the same time, energy is not Krishna. Just like sunshine and the sun, there is no difference. Both of them are light and heat, but still the sunshine is not the sun. When sunshine enters into a room, it does not mean that the sun has entered in. Sun is many millions of miles away, but still by his energy he has entered our room. So this is a concept of Achintya Bheda Tattva. Though though we say that Krishna and Krishna's energy is not different, energy of Krishna is the same as energy is same as energetic, because energy is coming from energetic, but at the same time they are different. So that is a simultaneously oneness and difference, and that's what Sri Krishna Lord Shri Krishna describes in this verse, which is also there in the purport. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagat avyakt murtina mat sthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastita. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So when in this verse, Sri Krishna says, "All beings are in me," so it actually means that all the beings are actually resting on the energy of Lord Krishna. And when he says, "I am not in them," it actually means that I am situated in my own abode, in Goloka Vrindavan. So, in that sense, we can see all beings are resting on the energy of Krishna. So that way, we can understand that all beings are actually resting on Krishna, because energy and energetic are non-different. But at the same time, Krishna is aloof from all of this, and he's just situated in his own abode. So this verse in Bhagavad Gita actually describes the simultaneously oneness and difference Achintya Bheda Tattva philosophy, which Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu propounded. All the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the purport of which I actually found from mm, this I took from the purport only, that all beings are in me. When Lord Krishna says all beings are in me, it actually means that all the manifestations that we see and everything that exists, both in this material world and the spiritual world, are resting on the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yet one should not conclude that because he is spread all over, he has lost his personal existence. To refute such an argument, the Lord says, I am everywhere and everything is in me, but still I am aloof. So just like sun is spread everywhere through sunshine, but still sun is also there, has a personality. So similarly, the Lord is spread everywhere throughout his energies, but it does not mean that the Lord does not exist in his personal form as well. He's everywhere and he's aloof as well. So basically, I recommend you all of you to read 9.4 and 9.5 of Bhagavad Gita along with the purports. So which actually very clearly explains the philosophy of Achinta Bheda Tattva. So this okay. So same is example for the planetary systems. So we'll see one of these verses as well. So all the planetary systems we see, they are actually floating in the space. So the space is nothing but an energy of Krishna. So that's in that sense, all the planets, all the universes, all the galaxies, they are resting on Krishna. So, but they are not resting personally on the Krishna. As we have seen, I don't know how many of you have seen. There is a old man holding a globe atlas on his back, and it's a very old person, and he seems to be very tired. So, but that is not the conception we give to Krishna. So, Krishna is not like a very old person who is just burdened by all the weight of all the galaxies and all the planets and all the universes. So, he's just enjoying with his devotees in Goloka Vrindavan. but everything is resting on his energy. So that conception, when we see the old man holding globe atlas, it's atlas called old man holding globe, that should not be attributed to God, it should not be attributed to Krishna. Now now the thing is, now this some of the chapters in Bhagavad Gita, especially the 10th chapter and few verses in the 7th chapter, and we will see very three important verses in the 15th chapter, which actually helps us to understand. Because as you can see, right, not everybody is on the highest platform of devotional service. So it's not possible for everyone to understand that just by chanting Hare Krishna, I am actually personally associating with Krishna at every time, at every moment. Especially also during the preaching, if we go out and preach to people, so who have no background about Krishna consciousness, it's actually very difficult to tell them that by chanting Hare Krishna, you are associating with Krishna. So that's why, depending on the level of the recipient to whom we are preaching, we actually preach in different methods. And Krishna has given us all the topics, how to preach, what to preach to what kind of audience, is all there in Bhagavad Gita. So, what happened in 1968, Srila Prabhupada gave a lecture in Golden Gate in San Francisco, and where there were so many around 200, 300 devotees were there, and there were many thousands and thousands of hippies were there. So that was one of the first Srila Prabhupada's public outing in such a big mass. And Srila Prabhupada told them, "You all have seen God." And everybody became very excited. And so, oh, how is it that I have seen God? And then Srila Prabhupada said, Raso ham apsu konteya. Krishna says, I am the taste of water. So whenever you drink water and you remember Krishna, it means that you immediately become Krishna conscious. That's what Srila Prabhupada preached them. So you see, so just mm, we are drinking water so many times in a day. Every time we drink water, so just by remembering that, this nice tasty water, Krishna is the taste of this water, and then we immediately become Krishna conscious. You see, so this is how the energy of Krishna helps us to remember Krishna. So we don't separate energy of Krishna from Krishna. We try to understand Krishna from the energy of Krishna. We try to remember Krishna from the energy of Krishna. So that's why these verses which Krishna talks about in 7th chapter, 10th chapter, and 15th chapter, like this one, Rasohamapsu Kaunteya, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryo, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, Shabda Ke Paurusham Nrshu. O son of Kunti, I am the taste of water, the light of the sun and the moon, the syllable Om in the Vedic mantras, I am the sound in the ether and ability in man. So these verses, when we encounter in Bhagavad Gita, so they are all helping us to understand that you are seeing so many things in your day-to-day life. So though you are not spiritually advanced, we are a common man. We are a neophyte devotees. We don't know Krishna. We don't know his devotees. We don't know his holy name. We know nothing practically about Krishna consciousness. So just try to understand me, some of my manifestations which you see here in this world. Like I'm the taste of water, I'm the sunshine of the sun, and I'm the ability in the man. Say, for example, whenever we see a very powerful personality doing some very extraordinary achievements, so that helps us to understand that that energy, that power has given to him by Krishna. So then we become Krishna conscious. So just by observing our surroundings, observing our nature around, how things are happening, what things are happening, they help us to remember Krishna through energy. So the whole summary of whatever we have discussed till now is, through energy we remember energetic. So just like through demonetization we remember Narendra Modi, so similarly through different energies, like I'm the taste of water, I'm the light of the sun, um, and I'm the ability in the man. So if we are able to actually relate that to Krishna, so that's actually our great deal of advancement in Krishna consciousness. So whatever we are doing, so if we just remember that, oh, this is the energy of Krishna, and if we remember Krishna, and actually best is if we use that energy in the service of Krishna, then actually we are progressing very steadily in Krishna consciousness. So you see, nobody is barred from Krishna consciousness, and this is a very great preaching thing also, which we'll see later. So depending on the level of person, so we can actually preach like this. You are seeing this and this thing, this is the energy of Krishna. So that way actually we can try to actually arouse Krishna consciousness in many people. And how that happened, I'll just see. Yeah. So that actually, I was actually, long time I used to think how to actually preach to the common man regarding this energy and energetic concept. And finally, I found in the 15th chapter, So that's the Purushottama Yoga. Three verses where actually Srila Prabhupada, Krishna actually gives the same concept that I am the energy and the whole energy comes from me, and energy is not different from energetic. So I'm sorry, today I have included so many verses here, but these are very, very nice verses in Bhagavad Gita, and it will help us to actually understand the depth of Bhagavad Gita also, that Bhagavad Gita covers almost every topic, and it also helps us, the neophyte devotees, to go and preach out also. So there are some three verses. We'll just read them: 15, 12, 13, and 14. So which is in the similar concept of energy and the energetic. So yadaditya gatam tejo jagat bhasyate akhilam yat chandramasi yat chagno tat tejo vidhi mamakam. The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of the fire are also from me. Gam avishya ch bhutani धार्याम्यहम ओजसा पुष्णामि चौषधिः सर्वा somo bhutva rasatmaka. I enter into each and every planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. And the final one, aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam dehamashrita pranapana samayukto pachamyanyam chaturvidham. I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the four kinds of foodstuff. Now, these three verses, right? If we just see these three verses, here Krishna is saying that I am the splendor of the sun, and I am the splendor of the moon, and I am the splendor of the fire. Now, if you see, we need sunlight and fire for our day-to-day operations. Mm, we are running our homes, we are running factories, all the industries are been running. So, without the sunlight and without the fire, there can be no activity that can be carried out. And here Krishna says, uh, I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables. So Krishna is also ensuring that whatever food supply we are getting, that's actually palatable and full of all nourishment. And not only that, Krishna says, I enter into each planet and by my energy they stay in orbit. So the place where we are living, where we are standing, where we are sitting right now, the only reason we are actually staying in that place is because Krishna, by his energy, is actually making sure that the planet does not dissolve like a dust. Planet stays in the orbit. And here, not only that, Krishna says, whatever you are eating, the fire of digestion also I am. So you can see a human society is working, living comfortably and enjoying food due to supply from the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, mankind could not supply. The working, so we saw in the verse 15, 12, I am the splendor of the moon. No, sorry, I am splendor of the sun and I am the splendor of the fire. So that's how we work and living comfortably. So we are staying in the orbit. Our planet is staying in the orbit and not falling down in Garbhodaka ocean. So just because we are living in our space, living on this planet uh, um, comfortably, it means that we are actually dependent on the energy of Krishna and enjoying food. Enjoying food, there are two aspects again. Krishna is supplying the food and Krishna is also helping to digest the food. So now just imagine we are in actually dependent on each and every aspect of our day-to-day life that are so important for us to live, like the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we are eating, and even the food we are digesting. Aham vaishvanaro bhutva. I am that fire. I am that fire of digestion, and I am the fire outside. I am the splendor of the sun. I am the splendor of the moon. So practically, we can see everything that we do in our day-to-day life. For there is not even a single moment of our life that we can live that is not dependent on the energy of Krishna. Everything, each and every moment of our life is dependent on the energy of Krishna. So these three verses are actually very, very important verses, which will help us to actually preach to the common mass of people out there who are actually not aware of the power of holy name, and they're just common people. They don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. So this is how we can actually try to help many people, to just help them understand that whatever we are actually doing in our day-to-day life, it's only because of the mercy of Krishna. It's only the energy of Krishna. So without that, without the energy of Krishna, we don't even exist. Interestingly, that it will be difficult for them to understand it. We ourselves are also the energy of Krishna, but this will be too much for them to take. So false ego will come into picture. So just I think just the basic things. That's like I'm working in the office, or I'm cooking at home. So the fire is the energy of Krishna. So we are living comfortably in the home. So the Krishna is making sure the planet stays in the orbit. I'm enjoying food. The Krishna through moon ensures that the foods are all the vegetables are palatable, and he's even digesting the food. So this is how we can actually preach to many people a common man. And this actually I took from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, where Srila Prabhupada summarized these few verses. Everyone sees the sun, moon, fire, and electricity. One should simply try to understand that the splendor of the sun, the splendor of the moon, the splendor of the electricity or fire are coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In such a conception of life, the beginning of Krishna consciousness lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in this material world. So you see, just this basic understanding that how we can actually relate energy with Krishna, energy to the energetic. Srila Prabhupada says lies a great deal of advancement for the conditioned soul in this material world. So this actually is the beginning of Krishna consciousness. So this is how actually we can actually remember Krishna throughout the day. So because if you, at this stage we are not on the platform to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra 24 hours a day, but whatever are we doing throughout the day, we can we can relate everything to Krishna. Okay, okay. So we are over the first section, energy and energetic. So to summarize this section, there are two things the important point we learned was that through energy, how can we remember energetic? And I recommend all of you to read these few verses and the purport by Srila Prabhupada. And and if you try to read the purport carefully, so these statements which Srila Prabhupada has given, like in such a conception of life, the beginning of Krishna consciousness lies a great deal of advancement. They become very very potent. They help us understand the whole thing. And some of the verses in 7th chapter, the 10th chapter, and the 15th chapter, these 3 4 verses, they actually help us to how do we relate each and everything happening in our life, in our day-to-day life with Krishna. So now we talk about the impersonal Brahman, so which is also explained in this text of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So what is the impersonal Brahman? Impersonal Brahman is nothing but a bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna emanating from Goloka Vrindavan. So so basically when we talk with impersonalists, the Mayavadis, they talk about Brahma Jyoti, and they talk about the bright light and all those things they talk about. So we have to understand that the bright light is nothing but the bodily effulgence of Lord Krishna. So this we'll see how it is that in the from Bhagavad Gita as well. It illuminates whole of the spiritual sky. So that's why the Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, uh, mm, that was is there right? Mm, न तद् भास्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः यद् गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद् धाम परमं मम. So न तद् भास्यते सूर्यो न शशांको न पावकः. The spiritual world is not illuminated by sun, the fire, or the moon or light. Why? Because it's illuminated by the Brahma Jyoti, the effulgence of Lord itself. So that illumination is present. So we don't need the sun, the moon, or electricity or power there. But what happens in the material world is Mahat Tattva, so which is the original material substance, that is a power to that is a power to cover the Brahma Jyoti. So that's why when the material creation happens, the Mahat Tattva covers a small portion of Brahma Jyoti. So that's why these all the material universes are dark, and we need sun's light in the universe to actually uh, mm, to light the material universe, and that light is nothing but a reflection of Brahma Jyoti only. So that's how we understand. Due to Mahat Tattva, the universes become dark because it actually covers a portion of Brahma Jyoti. So that's why the material universes are dark. Mm, but there is no Mahat Tattva in the spiritual world. Everything is energy of Krishna. So there is a full illumination in the spiritual world, and that illumination is nothing due to but only due to Brahma Jyoti. So yeah, and and here in the 14 to 27, Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. We'll only focus on the first part of this verse. Brahmano hi pratishtaham. And I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. So this very, very clearly Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that impersonal Brahman is not the basis in itself. Krishna himself is the basis of the impersonal Brahman. So this is a very, very important for us also to understand. So when we are talking with impersonalists or anybody trying to teaching many people, So this kind of conviction we need to have, where Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the basis of the impersonal Brahman. So the impersonal Brahman is also an energy of Krishna. It is not that the Krishna came from impersonal Brahman. Impersonal Brahman exists because Krishna exists. Now, basically, we see. So that's about the Brahma Jyoti. Is there anything else? Yeah. And about the impersonal Brahman realization, so there are actually three stages in a realization of the absolute truth: Brahman realization, Paramatma realization, and Bhagavan realization. So that is actually there in the. It's actually mentioned in the Bhagavatam first canto, chapter second, text 11. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yad jnanam advyam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. Learn transcendentalists who know the absolute truth call this non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma, or Bhagavan. Now, how we understand? So basically, we understand from here that there are three kinds of transcendentalists. So one are called Jnani yogis, so who are actually after the impersonal Brahman realization. Uh, Ashtanga yogis, who are who are, who are actually doing the Ashtanga yoga practices to realize Paramatma, and Bhakti yogis, who actually aspire for the supreme personality of Godhead. So how do we understand the difference between these three type of yogis? So so we can take a very simple examples. Now assume what happened was that once a teacher had three students. So they just wanted to understand at what level of realization they all are. Are they impersonal Brahman? Are they have they realized have they reached any level of realization or not? So so basically what we help to understand here is that so they please give me 1 minute. Please give me 1 minute. Yeah. So basically they were all standing on the railway station and and from the far a train started coming. So now the teacher asked one of the guys, all the guys, so what do you see? So one of the person say, I can see the train now. So I can see the light in the of the train. So they were standing in the night actually. So where you can't see the train clearly. So but you can see the light of the engine, right? So that you can see. So from the far distance he saw that light. And he said, yeah, now I can see the train is coming. Wow, so this is how the train is. Wow, I saw the light of the train. And the first student left. So that student who just saw the light of the train is actually a Gyan Yogi and who has only realized the impersonal Brahman aspect of the absolute truth. You know what happened? The train came a bit more closer. And now the second student say, now I can see the engine also. Wow, what a nice engine. And the light is coming from that engine. He became very happy and he left. Now he is like a Paramatma. He is like a Ashtang Yogi who has actually realized Paramatma realization because he could see the engine. Now the one student was still there. Now the train came to the platform. Now he could see all the bogies in the train. He can see the different persons are going inside the train. People are coming outside the train. He can see the engine driver. He can see the light of the engine. He can see the engine. He can see the guard in the end of the train. He can see so many things of the train. And then he said, "Yeah, now I understand. This is the train. Now I have a full understanding of train. Now I know what the train is. I know what the engine is, and I know what the engine light is. I know everything." So that student is actually nothing but the a bhakti yogi, so who has understood absolute truth in full. So so that's how we understand. So one who has only understood the impersonal Brahman aspect of Lord Krishna is a Gyan yogi, so which is just like who has understood the light of the train engine. And the second person who has just understood the train engine is like Ashtang yogi, who has understood the Paramatma aspect, but he has still not understood the full train aspect. And finally, the Bhakti Yogi, he has understood the full feature of the absolute truth. He understands what the train is, how many bogies are there, how the bogies are connected, how many people are going inside, how many people are coming outside. So what are they doing inside the train? What are they doing outside the train? What the engine driver is doing? He has understood everything. So that is Bhagavan realization. So that is the final. So that is called here as the last word, Bhagavan iti shabdete. The third or ultimate realization is the Bhagavan realization. So when we understand the Bhagavan realization, we understand Brahman and Paramatma realizations as well. So this train example will help us to understand the different categories of these students in the transcendental realization. So, and the thing is, as you can see, Once who has seen the full train, he has seen the engine also and he has seen the engine light also. So the bhakti yogis, uh, so the bhakti yogis not only realize uh, the supreme personality of Godhead, but they also realize the impersonal Brahman and they also realize the Paramatma aspect. So it's not that they are actually lost with something. They realize the whole aspect of the absolute truth in full. I think we won't discuss the man approaching hill example because I think the time is running out. So, so the Brahman, they realize the all-pervasive aspect of the Supreme. They are jnanis. Paramatma, they realize the localized aspect. They are yogis. And Bhagwan, they realize the all blissful person and their devotees. So my only request is please try to understand the train example, and it will help you to understand the difference between these three kinds of transcendentalists, because these jnanis, yogis, and devotees, these will find throughout the Bhagavad Gita and throughout the Bhagavatam. So if we have a basic understanding what these are, so it will actually help us to what the differences are. It will actually help us to understand the uh, 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 if we understand the train example, so it will help us to visualize the realization of these different transcendentalists. So here actually Srila Prabhupada says in another purport, Brahman is the beginning of transcendental realization. Paramatma, the supersoul, is the middle, the second stage in transcendental realization, and the supreme personality of Godhead is the ultimate realization of the absolute truth. And we saw how is the ultimate realization, because he can now fully see the train, inside and outside and everything he can see. So that is the ultimate realization. So once you understand, once we have the realization of supreme personality of Godhead, we have realized absolute truth in full. So yeah. So what happens actually at the what happens when one realizes the impersonal Brahman? So actually what happens is that it's actually the first stage of realization, and that stage is beyond the modes of material nature. So the person who is actually Brahman realized is actually not influenced by the miseries of the three modes of material nature, and he's situated on the transcendental platform to the material position. But he's actually not perfect in the Brahman realization because he has still not understood Krishna. Say, take a case of another example we can take. Assuming that someone is drowning in no, I think no, I think that's not an appropriate example. So I'll just try to explain here only. So basically, what happens is we are suffering so many miseries in the material world. So by the practice of devotion or by the any practice which Jnani yogis are taken, if we are actually overcome the material miseries and go beyond the three modes of material nature and are able to establish ourselves on the transcendental platform, which is beyond the three modes of material nature, then that platform is called a Brahman platform. So, so to help us understand, so just understand that the Brahman platform is actually beyond the modes of material nature, but that's all. So that's not a full understanding because you still don't know what is the final realization, but you are beyond the modes. So the material miseries like birth, death, these kind of miseries do not affect you. No old age, no disease. So you're beyond the material miseries, but you have still not achieved the perfection. So you have seen the light, but you have not seen the full train. So you only see the light of the engine, but not the full train. So you don't understand the full train. Now so this is the position of the Brahman realized person, which is there in the Bhagavad Gita 1854. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na shochati na kangshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labhate param. Oh, no. One who is one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. Because he becomes fully joyful because he's actually beyond the modes of material nature, so there are no miseries. So he becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires. So again, the modes of material nature do not act on such person. So there is no lamentation, no hate, no desire, and he's equally disposed towards every living entity. Why? Because he sees everybody on the spiritual platform. He doesn't see everybody on the bodily platform. So as we can see, these are some of the symptoms of a Brahmani realized person. Brahman realized person. He, he, that person is fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything, and most importantly, he's equally disposed towards every living entity. Every living entity means including animals, birds, insects, everyone, plants, everyone actually, because he actually see them as a spiritual sparks, and he doesn't see them as a bodily covering. Now the thing is, in this verse, Krishna says, "Now this is all good, So you have attained the Brahman platform, but what happens in that platform? In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Now, this is a very, very important point. Mad bhaktim labhate param. Mayavadis and impersonalists, they actually cut down this last statement. So they say impersonal Brahman is actually the end of it and nothing more. But here we say Krishna says Mad bhaktim labhate param. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. So if the impersonal Brahman was the end of self-realization, then Krishna would have never told that after achieving impersonal Brahman, you become a pure devotee. That Krishna wouldn't have told here. If impersonal Brahman realization was the end of self-realization, the Krishna wouldn't have told that you actually attain pure devotional service after attaining that platform. So we understand from Bhagavad Gita, from the words of Krishna, that impersonal Brahman realization is not the end of self-realization. It's actually the beginning of self-realization because it's the first stage of self-realization. And what happens is, in that state, one attains devotional service unto me. So we see Brahman realization is not the end of self-realization. The four Kumaras, please give me 1 minute. Please give me 1 minute. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. So as you can see, Brahman realization is not the end of self-realization. So we have many examples in the scriptures, like we have four Kumaras. They were perfectly situated on the Brahman realization, but when they learn the glories of Krishna from their father, Lord Brahma, so they actually developed a desire to meet that supreme person. And finally, we know that how they become pure devotees of Krishna. So they actually rose from the platform of Brahman conception to the platform of devotional service. And same we see for the Sukadev Goswami, Srila Sukadev Goswami, how he got attracted to the pastimes of Krishna, even though he was perfectly situated in the Brahman conception. So he got attracted to the pastimes of Krishna. So we understand that pastimes of Lord Krishna are not pastimes of this material world, the mundane pastimes, because a Brahman realized person will never be attracted to any mundane pastimes of this material world. But here we see Shukdev Goswami got attracted to the pastimes of Lord Krishna. So that alone says that the pastimes of Lord Krishna are not mundane. They are not of this material world, but they are actually beyond this material world. They are all transcendental. And they are attractive even to the Brahman realized person. Now, the problem is, so one can say, okay, it's fine. Brahman realization is good for me. I don't want to go higher. I am happy. There are no miseries here, no birth, no death. It's okay. I'm happy in the Brahman realization. So now I don't want to proceed further. So what is his position? Actually, it's like the position is very interesting position. Assume uh, you are going to a country and you don't have a proper visa for the country, and somehow you manage to get on the plane. Now you have reached the country. So what the customs are going to do? They won't let you inside the country. They will keep you for some time in their some room or somewhere in the airport, and in the next flight they will send you back. You see, so that is the position of the Brahman realized person who actually does not have a proper visa to go back to Godhead. So what happens is he will achieve Brahman position, but because here the Lord Brahma will see the next verse from what he says, Lord Brahma, but because he has not yet understood absolute truth in full, he has not developed the devotional service to Lord Krishna, he falls down from that position. He again comes to this material world. So he's deported from that. Uh, um, he's deported from that country because he did not have a visa. Now he has to come back to the old country, and he has to suffer again like birth, death, old age, and disease. So the Brahman position, if a person who has realized impersonal Brahman who does not make further progress, actually falls down back to the material world. So no one can stay permanently in the Brahman position because that is not the constitutional position of the living entity. So you actually cannot stay in the Brahman position for all of eternity. You will fall down. And this is the verse in Bhagavatam which Lord Brahma says, Yanyarvindaksha vimukta maninas tvayashta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya krichena param padam tata patantyado anadrata yushmat anagrahya. Although a person may rise to the stage of impersonal Brahman, without going further, without no information of the Supreme Person, his intelligence is not perfectly clear. Therefore, in spite of being raised to the Brahman platform, there is a chance of falling down if one is not engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So, this is what I request all of you to just remember this point. The Brahman realization, the, which the Jnana yogis aspire for, and which Mayavadis claim that this ultimate end is not the end of self realization. And we, and actually, we saw in that verse Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, where Krishna says, after that, they become a pure devotees of me. So, the pure devotional service is a step beyond Brahman realization. And the thing is, you cannot stay in that position of Brahman realization without becoming a devotee. So, you fall down back. So this is a very important point. So there are so many Gyanis, so-called Gyanis out there, so many Mayavadis out there. So actually we just have to develop this conviction from the Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita that though the Brahman position is beyond this material existence, it's beyond the influence of the three modes of material nature, but that is not a permanent position for the living entity. That is not the ultimate shelter. So what is the perfection end of the Brahma realization? And there we saw Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma verse, uh, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. So surrender into Supreme Lord Krishna. So I think we are running out of time. So I'll skip some of these things and cover some important points only. So actually, the only thing we need to understand is, so from this section again, that the Brahman realization is not the end of self-realization. So we have to see, if we see our if we see our personality, right, we are always looking for a shelter. Say, take a guess. No matter in whatever position of life we are looking for a shelter. Take an example of child. He is always dependent on the shelter given by his parents. Take a case of us also, right? We think that, oh, my bank balance, my house, my job, they are giving me shelter. So though they give shelter or they don't give the shelter, but every living entity is looking for a shelter, even in the human species, animal species. And the problem happens is the impersonal Brahman relation does not give that shelter. As a result, we fall down. Now the point is, so if the so we consider like this: assume that you are actually put up in a room all alone with nothing to do, just all alone in one room, locked from outside. No smartphone, no television, no internet, no Prabhupada books, nothing. No chanting beads, all alone inside room. Empty room, blank room. Huh? Only maybe one, it's a tube light. Some light is there. So now, how long can you stay in that position? How long? Maybe not even day, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. So you understand what I'm trying to say? Because that is not our constitutional position. We have so many desires. We are spiritual spark full of all desires and activity. How can we stay on a position where there is no activity, there is no love, there is no fulfillment of desires? So just by this example that we cannot stay in an empty room without our smartphones or internet or anything. So similarly, a transcendentalist cannot stay on the impersonal Brahman position forever, because that is not the constitutional position of the living entity. So the point is this: impersonal Brahman realization cannot give one the ultimate shelter which we are looking for. Ultimate shelter. That's a very important point. We are not looking for a shelter. We are looking for ultimate shelter. See, take a case of a child, right? How much he is dependent on the parents. He's how much happy he is. He doesn't have to worry about his food. He doesn't have to worry about his clothing. He doesn't have to worry about his toys. He doesn't have to worry about anything at all. Only thing he does is just play, 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 and that's all he does. No matter there is a recession going on, parents have a job, they don't have a job, they have a food at home, they don't have a food at home. He's not worried about that. He knows that everything will be taken care of. See, because he's completely and 100% dependent, has taken shelter of his parents. You see? So that is our position, all of our position. It's not just a child's position. We are actually searching after an ultimate shelter where we can get a full and ultimate shelter. So, where we get an ultimate shelter. So, now we go to the last section. I'm sorry, it's a bit extend. It's going on. So, I'll try to wrap up soon now. So, now the ultimate shelter. So, ultimate shelter, if you see this bold line, So basically, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So there are 10 topics in Srimad Bhagavatam. So the 10th canto, the Srila Prabhupada calls it as Samam Bonam, which is the ultimate shelter, which is Ashraya, Ashraya Tattva. So, so basically, Sri Krishna is this Ashraya, and therefore the greatest necessity of life is to study the science of Krishna. So, so here in this purport to uh, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, Srila Prabhupada describes 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam, and the 10th topic is Ashraya, the ultimate shelter. So that's how we actually go by canto, verse by verse, page by page. We are actually approaching towards the 10th canto. So once we reach the 10th canto, so that's where we get the ultimate shelter. And all the 9 cantos are helping us to reach that position. And here in the again the same verse it says, Krishna eka sarvashraya, Krishna eka sarvashraya, Krishna sarvadhama, Krishnera sharira sarva, Vishvera vishrama. The personality of God as Sri Krishna is the shelter and abode of everything. All the universes rest in his body. So again, here we see the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam reveals the 10th object, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the shelter of all surrendered souls. He is known as Sri Krishna and is the ultimate source of all universes. Let me offer my obeisance unto him. So this is a quotation given by Srila Sridhara Swami in the first verse of 10th canto, his commentary. So as you can see, right, ultimate shelter as revealed by all scriptures, as revealed by Bhagavatam, as revealed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, that we'll see, is Krishna himself. Here, Krishna, so many places he says in Krishna, I have only taken few excepts. Brahmanoi Pratishta Aham. We actually saw that. And Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjay. There is no truth superior to me. And then we have in Chatur Sloki, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava Matta Sarvam Pravartate. Everything emanates from me. So, and then the Ishopanishad also, we see a devotee praying to the Lord to remove the impersonal effulgence, Brahma Jyoti, which is so blinding that so he can see the face of the Lord. So which is also there mentioned in the Ishopanishad. So this is what the point is. We are actually looking for the ultimate shelter, and the impersonal Brahman platform or Ashtanga platform, we didn't discuss that way, is not going to give us that shelter. Only Lord Krishna is the ultimate shelter, and we achieve that shelter through through devotional service. And how to achieve that shelter? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. So Krishna told in Bhagavad Gita that he is the ultimate shelter, and he told us that if you surrender into me, you achieve that ultimate shelter. So surrender into Krishna means that take shelter. So basically, what does it mean by surrendering into Krishna? It means that we have to surrender into a spiritual master. We have to take shelter from him. We have to take initiation from him, and we have to obey his instructions, and we have to consider his instructions as our only life and soul and nothing else. So this is how we actually, basically, the step-by-step process that we are step-by-step process that you're following the Bhakti Yoga under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, that takes us to the platform of the ultimate shelter, to ultimate uh, mm, ultimate surrender to Krishna. Now we'll just come to the last part, conclusion. Which path of self-realization is the best? Now this is a very, very important point. See, we are practicing devotional service. We are chanting Hare Krishna mantra. We are reading Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So unless we are fully convinced that this is the only best path for self-realization, so we won't actually develop full faith in the process. So it's very important for us to develop that conviction, to have that full faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I am the eternal servant of Krishna, and Bhakti Yoga is the best path. Actually, it is the only path for the self-realization. So this conviction is very, very important for everyone to develop that conviction. So, okay. Now, if you see regarding the Ashtanga Yoga is also mentioned in many places in Bhagavatam, and it's also an authorized path of self-realization. But as you can see, it's actually not practical in this age. So, Ashtanga Yoga wants us to go to the forest and practice devotional service. So basically, but actually there are no forests only left, and And even if there is some forest, if you go there, so some forest ranger will come and kick you out. He will say there is no permit, so you cannot stay in the forest. So as you can see, and yeah, important point is the time it takes to get perfection in Ashtanga Yoga. Valmiki, sage Valmiki, it took 60,000 years for him to gain perfection. And Prachetas, we'll see in the end of fourth canto, they were practicing this practice of meditation for 10,000 years under the sea, 10,000 years, and that too under the sea. And then they got the vision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So as you can see, we have only hardly have 100 years, maybe 60, 70. Actually, we can die anytime. So, so, so though it's the authorized path of self-realization, it's actually not practical for this age. So this is what we need to understand. So we should not waste time in doing any Ashtanga yoga thing. Yeah, and actually whatever yogas we see, today we see Patanjali yoga, Ramdev Baba, or the hot yoga, Bikram yoga. mm, mm, they're not yogas; they're just gymnasiums, big gymnasiums. So they teach you some bodily exercises and take your money. So they should be named as gymnasium, not as a yoga center. So because in the Ashtanga yoga, you actually objective is Krishna. But if you go them, they don't know anything about Krishna. So 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 these yogas these days they're just treating people. They're only gymnasiums, not yogas. So as we can understand, Ashtanga yoga is not practical. And and between the Jnana yoga and Bhakti yoga, Krishna himself has told in the 12th chapter, uh, mm, 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 Arjuna Arjuna raised this inquiry. Which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman I am manifested? This is a 12.1 verse. And Krishna authoritatively says, those who fix their minds on my personal form are always engaged in worshipping me with great faith, transcendental faith, are considered by me to be the most perfect. As we can see, Krishna himself has clarified this doubt. So we don't need any clarification from any impersonalist or Mayavadi. And these words are very, very clear in Bhagavad Gita. So nothing can be interpreted as also. So we understand from Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has said the Bhakti Yoga path is much more superior to Jnana Yoga path. So this is the conviction we need to have. The path we have taken is actually the supermost path of self-realization. And if we just stick to the path, if we just follow the process, we will attain perfection. And and here about the, but still if you think that okay, that's fine, I still want to practice impersonal Brahman. So here Krishna also says in 12.4, klesho adhikatarastesham, for those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal person feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. So we have so many instructions in Bhagavad Gita which actually clearly guide that Bhagavad Gita is the only path of self-realization. So this is the conviction we need to have. So this increases our faith in Krishna consciousness, and actually uh, mm, um, we won't be diverted from this path if someone says something else. So just we have to just understand, say, Bhagavad Gita and the purports of Bhagavad Gita under the guidance of senior devotees, under the guidance of spiritual masters. So all these things become very, very clear. And actually, this is very interesting. There is a verdict verse also in Bhagavad Gita about who is the best, Jnana Yogi, Ashtanga Yogi, or Bhakti Yogi. There is a verdict verse. And I know most of you have seen this very, very popular verse in Bhagavad Gita. And to the advanced, uh, uh, yeah, it's actually very, very good verse. So, and it's actually the verdict verse. I don't know if it's the right term or not, but I actually, when uh, I was thinking of putting some last verse to actually summarize the whole class. And I then came across this one final verse. Yoginam api sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental loving service unto me, he is most intimately united with me in yoga and is the highest of all. That is Krishna's opinion, my opinion. That's what Krishna says. And there is no opinion higher than Krishna's opinion. And if Krishna is saying he is the highest of all, So he is the highest of all. So this is the verdict verse. So it actually dispels all doubts regarding uh, which process of self-realization is the best. We understand the Bhakti Yoga process as given to us by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as explained to us by Srila Prabhupada in such clarity, in all details, is the best process we can take, and which is also there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Yadnehi Sankirtana Prayir Yajantahi Sumedasha. Those who are intelligent in this age worship Lord Chaitanya through Sankirtana Yajna. So the path of Bhakti Yoga that we are following, that all of us who are here in this class today, they're trying to follow that path. We need to have that conviction that we are on the right path. So we are not blindly following this path. We have these scriptural proofs, scriptural injunctions to convince us. Krishna says, he's the highest of all. He's Krishna's opinion. And here Krishna says, Same Yukta Tamo Mata. He is the best, Yukta Tamo. No scope of any interpretation anywhere. So, just by understanding these teachings of Bhagavad Gita and understanding these teachings of Bhagavatam, we actually stay fixed in this path of Krishna consciousness. So I think that's all I had to say in the today's class. Thank you very much. So let us all take this opportunity given to us by Srila Prabhupada very, very seriously. We actually don't realize our great fortune. No one realizes our great fortune, that we are so fortunate to be having come in contact with ISKCON, to getting an opportunity to read Srila Prabhupada books in the Association of Devotees, and the detailed Srila Prabhupada purports. And if we dive them, so the only thing we and the process of chanting Hare Krishna mantra, this such an amazing process of self-realization. We are such a greatly fortunate person to be in contact with this process. So if we just take it seriously, sincerely, at all times, places, circumstances, with all our thought, mind, words, and deeds, in all times, places, circumstances, if we act to please Guru and Krishna, then our lives become successful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Amal Puran Prabhuji, for wonderfully narrating the beautiful characteristics of the Supreme Lord. Very nicely talked about how energy and energetic they're same and at the same time different. You talked about how, the Brahman aspect of the Lord, how the Supreme Center is Lord Krishna. We always find your lecture, right, very detailed, very thoroughly researched and very nicely presented. So
thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much for sharing so nicely. Thank you. Let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra for Amal Puran Prabhuji. So let's chant loudly the Hare Krishna Mahamantra for the benefit of Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So now, if Yugal Kishore Prabhu is here, so if you can share some of the Byuha program update from yesterday. Yugal Kishore Prabhu, you are there. Yugal Kishore Prabhu. Okay, maybe I can. So yesterday, Prabhuji had a Byuha of his sector. Yesterday evening, along with Bandhamada Prabhu and Harikhetra Prabhu. It was a good gathering, and I think Bandhamada Prabhu gave the class on how to practice Krishna consciousness in a Grihastha ashram. Okay, Prabhuji is saying that he's there, but he's on mute. Okay, let me try to unmute him.
Yeah,
is it okay?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So yesterday we had first ever our Viva program for our sector, and it was almost 40 plus devotees. At peak time there were 31 attendance. With the family could be around 40 plus devotees attending that, and we started with Kirtan and then followed by Bandhu Mahadava Prabhu's wonderful class, very, very wonderful class, where he emphasized the purpose and the goal of the Grahastha life. And one of the point that he said that whether we are grahastha, brahmacharis, or any other ashramas that we are, but the purpose of the life is to please Krishna. And followed by His Grace Harikshatra Prabhu also give directions that how we take this process very seriously and then propagate this mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Amal Puran Prabhu was saying that, and spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada to all. And after that, we had a wonderful cultural events for the adults as well as the kids. So overall, it was almost 3.5 hours of long gathering. But I think at the end, all the participants were happy and enjoyed that. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Yugal Kisar Prabhuji. Yes, I heard from Harikatra Prabhu as well that it was very well engaging, very interacting, and very enlightening session. So thank you very much. Yes, so this programs really helps us in taking our energy, taking all of our enthusiasm to the next level. Thank you. So now I would request Achyut Prabhu, Achyut Arjuna Shakha Prabhu, to share an update on book distribution.
Hare Krishna, Prabhujis and Matajis, please accept my humble obeisances. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, loud and clear.
Okay. So very, very happy to share an update regarding the book distribution. Before we do that, the message which we want to convey is pretty much same which was conveyed in the Vyuha, that we all need to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness very, very seriously. And that can be possible when we read the books of Srila Prabhupada and distribute them. Distributing the books of Srila Prabhupada is the best preaching which is possible, because by distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, we let Srila Prabhupada do the preaching. And the best way to spread the preaching is, of course, distribute the books. So we are very happy to announce that as of now, we have distributed 1,865 books, and devotees from all over, all sections of ISKCON Whitefield congregation, even the new youth groups who have recently been attached from the various youth programs, even they are engaged in distributing the books. So we are very, very thankful to everybody. The Calling Sankirtan Party, which is a new initiative for this year, has blissfully distributed over 1,450 books in a period of 2.5 weeks. Many devotees are engaged in that, and some nice results are coming out. We are looking forward for more and more participation from people, from the devotees. The more participation we have, the more ecstatic, enthusiastic, and beautiful the results will be. And like Vijay Prabhu said in his session, this is the best way in which we can offer our engagement in the service of Srila Prabhupada. However, all said and done, there's still a long way to go. His Grace Harikshatra Prabhu had taken a target of 12,000 books. So we are somewhere around 1,800, 1,900 books. So we have a lot many more books to distribute. Devotees can engage in book distribution in whichever way they want. They can also try to get Shastradan, and please try to tax your brains, in which we can fulfill the desire of Srila Prabhupada and Harikshatra Prabhu and all the core team members who have aspired for a score of 12,000 books. So that's the short update from book distribution side. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Achyut Arjuna Shakha Prabhu. So for the kind information of all the devotees, we have a big day coming up this week. That's the Vaikuntha Ekadasi and also Gita Jayanti. That's the 25th of, I believe, December. That's a Friday. And it has been more than a decade since we started book distribution in this area, or I would say even in Bangalore or in South India. Especially Vaikuntha Ekadasi has been always a huge day, mega day for all of us, where all around everybody, they're really looking forward to get the mercy of Lord to go to Vaikuntha, and then we really give them this ticket of going back to Godhead through the medium of Srila Prabhupada's books. And it's so nice that Vaikuntha Ekadasi Gita Jayanti is on the same day. So it's a really great opportunity. Yes, there are still a lot of constraints with respect to this COVID and so on, but still considering all the precautions, the devotees can really stretch a little bit and extend to share this mercy of Prabhupada, to share the message of the Lord, and we can distribute this ticket of going back to Godhead on this wonderful day. So yes, as usual, we'll be distributing these books in various Lord Vishnu temples. I'm sure, right? Yes, there will be a moderate crowd, might not be as big, but still, whoever comes, they would be really looking forward to the mercy. So, and it's really up to us just to stand there to be the instrument in sharing this ticket of going back to Godhead. So, I would request all the devotees to please come forward and spend some time and on this Friday, Gita Jayanti, Vaikuntha Ekadasi, to distribute this love of Godhead with everybody. Yes, some more can be heard from the respective Bhakti leaders or the Gita course leaders, and more will be announced during this course of week. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada's Book Distribution Marathon ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to this Bhakti Center for Narsimha Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Hiranyakashe purvakshah Hiranyakashe purvakshah Shiladankarakhalaye Shiladankarakhalaye Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Ito Narasimha Parato Narasimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narasimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narasimha Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha Charanam Prapande Adbhuta Sringam Lalita Hiranyakashipu Kano Vrinda Keshavalita Narmarirupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Tava Kara Kamala Hare अद्भुत ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु करुणया केशवज्जिता हरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश जय केशवदेवता हरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय केशवदेवता हरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय अनंत देव लक्ष्मी नरसिंह जय भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय। भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू वेरी मच।